Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam, and welcome back to the AFI project. Today we're going to be taking a look at The Deer Hunter. This was directed by Michael Cimino, and it starred Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken, and Meryl Streep. It tells the story of three lifelong friends who get drafted into the Vietnam War. However, the war really kind of chews them up and spits them out. And the movie chronicles their journey through the PTSD that they eventually suffer. I had never seen this movie before, but it was one of those movies that literally everyone could not stop raving about. And so I sat down to watch it, and I was very excited. And, well, I was very disappointed. Don't get me wrong, I don't think this movie is bad, but wow, this movie was so long. Like, it's north of 3 hours long, and I feel like I'm still watching it right now. Before any of you dislike the video, just please hear me out, because there is a lot of stuff about this movie that I did enjoy. Most importantly of which was the acting, because the acting in this movie was spot on. As I said in my Taxi Driver review, the late 70s all the way up to the early 90s was peak Robert De Niro. He was clicking on all cylinders, and it is no different in The Deer Hunter. There's a scene near about the middle of the movie when he returns from the Vietnam War, and he is driving by his home in a taxi cab, and he sees this big party has been planned for him for his big grand return. And he tells the driver, keep going, just keep going. And he slunches over in his seat because he doesn't want to be seen by anybody. He ends up staying the night at some random hotel and then coming back there about 24 hours later. And everyone was like, hey, what happened to you? And he was like, my plane got delayed. It was a very subtle way of showing that Robert De Niro's character was having a very hard time. And I credit the movie with doing that in such a delicate manner. I also really enjoyed the chemistry between the three main leads. That's Robert De Niro, John Savage, and Christopher Walken. More on him in a second. But the chemistry between the three was really well done. You could really get the sense that these three have known each other literally since birth. Like, they're friends for life. John Savage has more than a few emotional scenes, and he nails it. But then Christopher Walken just blows everything out of the water. When I was growing up, Christopher Walken was someone completely different to me. He was essentially a meme. You know, he was the guy in the Weapon of Choice music video, and he was doing all these wacky things, and he had this weird way of talking, like, oh, there's old goofy Christopher Walken. But in this movie, wow, he is totally different. At the start of the movie, he's just a normal guy, you know, he's getting married, he's off to the war, you know, he's feeling good. But then by the end, he is just a shell of himself. Walken ended up winning an Academy Award for this, and I do not trust the Oscars at all, ever. But they made a right decision here, because Walken absolutely deserved the Oscar for it. And considering the other options, well, there was really no competition. Or wait, what were the other options? Let me just think. Bruce Dern for Coming Home? Never heard of it. Richard Farnsworth for Comes a Horseman? Never heard of it. John Hurt for Midnight Express? Never heard of it. And Jack Warden from Heaven Can Wait? Never heard of that either. Do any of you ever notice that a lot of Oscar movies are kind of forgettable? Or is it just me? Let me know in the comments. But with all that out of the way, the length of this movie. The length of this movie. This movie is 3 hours and 4 minutes long. Now, I like some movies that are over 3 hours. The Return of the King is one of my all-time favorites. Avengers Endgame was awesome. So I inherently have no problem with movies that choose to go over 3 hours. It's the content that I have a problem with. Because I swear to God, the first hour of this movie, like, nothing happens. The only thing that really does happen in this movie for the first hour is a wedding. For all of you younger viewers at home, going to weddings suck. Really, the only people excited to be at a wedding are the bride and the groom and their respective families. This wedding and the reception that followed it went on forever, and it felt like just nothing was happening. The only kernels of story that happen are a possible love triangle between Robert De Niro, Meryl Streep, and Christopher Walken. And then Walken, Savage, and De Niro meet a Vietnam soldier, and they ask him what it's like, and the soldier gets literal Vietnam flashbacks. That's about it. The movie really picks up steam when the three boys go to Vietnam, and that Russian roulette scene. The Russian roulette scene in this movie, in some ways, were 100% legit. De Niro and Walken did their own stunts. They sat in actual bamboo cages with water up to their necks, surrounded by mosquitoes and rats, like IRL rats and mosquitoes. And De Niro and Savage, in the one shot where they both fall into the river when they're trying to get onto the helicopter, they did those actual legit. Those were actual stunts. And they had to do that 30-foot dive 15 times over 2 days. That would be a big frickin' nope from me. Just saying. The point I'm trying to get at is this. Cimino went above and beyond to make these scenes look as brutal and violent as they turned out to be. And that whole sequence is the best part of the movie. When we leave Vietnam and go back to this town, it's back to the same monotony again. With the exception of the ending where Chris Walken's like, "You want me to do it? I'll do it!" Outside of that, it was literally nothing happening, to the point where I fell asleep watching it at one point. And I'm not trying to say that I'm above this movie. I'm not. I'm just trying to be honest. That is exactly what happened to me. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to go so far as to say that this is a bad movie, because it is not. It is incredibly well acted, it's very well shot, and I give all of the actors and the crew all the credit in the world for making all the Vietnam stuff look legit, and De Niro and Savage and Walken doing their own stunts. I have a lot of appreciation for that. However, this movie just bored me to tears, with the exception of the Vietnam stuff. I hope I really don't have to turn in my film fan card for saying this. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. Next time on the AFI Project, I'm going to be switching things up from a drama to a comedy. And I'm going to be talking about a Korean War comedy. It's 1970s MASH. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way, when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.